came up with an idea called Frog It, based on my experiences at the BBC. This is basically houses go up for auction, and the most frogs that are thrown at the house wins the house. So people, turn up to the auction bidding. The hammer goes down only when the most frogs have been thrown at the building by any one party.
Okay. I like this idea. It's very interesting. However, I think we're going to need the involvement of Bob and Claire.
Why?
Well, because
they don't
I don't.
Frogs, do they?
No. Well, I think.
Ready to die.
Even with my humour, I might have a problem after the first 600 or 700 frogs. I am afraid that once it reaches a certain number, it becomes a massacre, and I do shed one tear. And I haven't shed a tear in years, so we're going to have fake frogs. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Not realistic, but
no. Well, then again, it's, today's special effects are pretty good. So you're looking at sort of Bob and Claire from a animal rights perspective, maybe almost.
No, because they fucking pwn at making just general shit. Usually out paper mache, but I don't think that's going to work.
700 paper mache frogs. What's the budget on that?
Filled with squibs.
Filled with offal.
Awful. Well, you know what a squib is, don't you?
No.
Okay, you know in films where somebody gets shot, it's the little pack that's attached to their body that explodes.
That would be OCT. Paper mache things would splat anyway because they'd crumble.
Or just GFX. It's a lot easier to use graphics.
Well, I had the idea of we don't actually have to see any frogs. No animals were harmed during the making of this thing. So you've got the frogs
in a bucket.
Maybe in a bucket of frogs, right? But maybe a line of people with buckets, and then the camera sort of pans along, and they're talking about their frogs and where they found them and what speciality they are and sort of breeds and stuff. And then
maybe talking about the aerodynamics of that particular breed.
Yeah, there we go.
What's the trajectory on frogs?
The AOE.
Would you overarm it, or just fucking what would you do? Get a cannon on David Beckham it?
Slingshot.
But what does it have to do with actual selling and purchasing of houses?
Well, the point is that the most frogs thrown at the house in a set time limit. I mean, perhaps the frogs are painted or colour coded, or there are maybe a handful of people.
Fed food diet previously.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so the frogs are brought up in a diet appropriate to the colour of the contestant. No, well, it turns into a bit of a game show.
With animal rights activists a little bit.
But you see, at the end of the day, you don't have to show any frogs being thrown at anything. Maybe a frog going in midair could be the sort of the opening credits. If you think of some kind of the Frog-It theme music could be dun, 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 and then this frog goes and it stops midair and then Frog-It comes.
Frog-It.
Yeah. and then you get a few establishing shots of people with frogs in the house that's up for auction, and then within the set time of say 30 seconds, the most frogs. Well, the more colour of the contestants are on the house.
Yeah, because that would mean that they could talk about the area of effect of their particular.
How would you judge how much colour is it?
Well,
like
if you
imagine
there are three
circumference of colour.
No. Imagine there are three people in front of a building, white building,
red,
with
yellow, and blue
guns.
Yeah,
and they each have different coloured paintball. They get a certain amount of time, and the more predominant colour on that building at the end of it wins.
Why would you even think of this?